Let's get right into it. Number 10, aluminum foil. You probably wrapped your leftover pizza in aluminum foil last night without thinking twice about it. That same shiny metal once sat in display cases next to the French crown jewels. In the 1850s, aluminum cost $550 per pound. Gold was only $19 per ounce. The French Emperor Napoleon III was so obsessed with this magical metal that he had special aluminum cutlery made for his most honored dinner guests. Everyone else at the royal banquet had to eat with boring old gold forks. When America finished the Washington Monument in 1884, they capped it with a 6-pound pyramid of aluminum and displayed it in Tiffany's jewelry store window first. This was America basically saying, "Look what we can afford." Then a 22-year-old college student working in an Ohio woodshed figured out how to make aluminum cheaply using electricity. Within years, the price collapsed from $550 per pound to 25 cents. You probably have a whole roll in your kitchen drawer right now. That roll would have been worth more than your house 140 years ago. Number 9, sugar. In 1319, sugar cost about $100 per kilogram adjusted for inflation. It was classified as a spice and sold by apothecaries alongside medicine. Queen Elizabeth I loved sugar so much her teeth turned black. A German visitor noted this was a common problem among wealthy English people. Only the wealthy, mind you, because nobody else could afford enough sugar to rot their teeth. At royal banquets, elaborate sugar sculptures depicted soldiers and castles. These weren't meant to be eaten. They were meant to show everyone how disgustingly rich you were. British consumption went from 4 pounds per person annually in 1704 to 90 pounds by 1901. You've probably spilled more sugar cleaning your counter than a medieval peasant saw in their entire lifetime. Number 8, purple fabric. You can buy a purple shirt for $20 today. In ancient Rome, that color would cost you 3 pounds of gold. Tyrian purple dye came from sea snails. You needed about 12,000 snails for a single garment. The Emperor Caligula once had a king executed for showing up to a meeting wearing purple. Only the emperor was legally allowed to wear it. The phrase "born in the purple" comes from Byzantine emperors literally born in a purple-decorated chamber. Today you can get purple dye synthesized in a factory for almost nothing. A color that empires fought over is now in every box of crayons. Number 7, a pineapple. In the 1700s, a single pineapple could cost the equivalent of $8,000. A rental market developed. You could rent a pineapple for your dinner party, carry it around to impress guests, and return it the next day. You weren't allowed to eat it. That pineapple would get rented out repeatedly until it rotted. King Charles II commissioned a portrait of himself being presented with one. Growing pineapples in England required special heated greenhouses called pineries, costing the equivalent of $30,000 to build. The heat came from decomposing horse manure. The richest fruit in the kingdom was grown from rotting animal waste. Today you can buy a pineapple for about $3. You've probably let one go bad in your fridge. In the 1700s, that would be like forgetting you own a luxury car. Number 6, salt. Salt was literally traded weight for weight with gold in parts of Africa. In medieval Timbuktu, a 90-kilogram block of salt could be worth around 450 grams of gold. Salt funded entire empires. The Mali Empire became one of the wealthiest in history because it controlled salt trade routes. The word salary comes from Latin relating to salt. Roman soldiers received allowances connected to it. The phrase "worth your salt" comes from this era. Salt was essential for preserving food before refrigeration. Without it, meat rotted within days. The Saharan salt trade required camel caravans traveling weeks across the desert. Workers in salt mines of Taghaza lived in buildings literally made of salt blocks. You now grab salt from a shaker at any restaurant without asking. That same amount could have bought you land a few centuries ago. Number 5, black pepper. Pepper was called black gold, and that wasn't a nickname. When the Visigoths ransomed Rome, they demanded 3,000 pounds of pepper alongside the precious metals. In medieval England, landlords sometimes accepted pepper as rent payment. The term peppercorn rent still exists in legal language today. 1 pound of pepper could equal 4 pounds of silver. Venice built its fortune on controlling the pepper trade, marking up prices 40% just for moving it across the Mediterranean. Vasco da Gama sailed around Africa to India in 1498, specifically to get pepper directly. Columbus was looking for a western route to the Spice Islands. The age of exploration that reshaped the world was largely funded by Europe's desperate need for affordable pepper. Today it sits forgotten in the back of your spice rack. Number 4. Glass windows. For most of history, windows were holes in walls covered with wooden shutters or oiled cloth. Glass windows were so expensive only churches and castles could afford them. In England, nobles would actually remove their glass windows and take them along when traveling between estates. That's how valuable they were. The English government created a window tax in 1696. People started bricking up windows to avoid paying. You can still see bricked up windows on old buildings today. Hardwick Hall in England was described as more glass than wall. This was architectural bragging. The owner was saying, "I'm so wealthy I can make my walls out of glass." Today you probably complain about washing your windows. A few hundred years ago, having windows to wash would make you the envy of your village. Number 3. Ice. Before refrigeration, ice was shipped across oceans. Frederick Tudor, the Ice King, built a fortune shipping frozen pond water to tropical destinations. His first shipment in 1806 took New England ice to the Caribbean. People thought he was insane. The Boston Gazette asked if he'd next try shipping snowballs to the West Indies. Tudor packed ice and sawdust and eventually shipped frozen water as far as India. The 16,000-mile voyage to Calcutta took 4 months. 100 tons survived the journey, and he still made a profit. By the 1850s, over 140,000 tons of ice were exported from Massachusetts annually. He had to teach people in tropical places what to do with ice because most had never experienced it. He gave bars free ice to encourage cold drinks. Today you have a freezer making ice whenever you want. Tudor died worth $200 million in today's money, all from frozen water. You make his product for free. Number 2. Mirrors. A French countess in the 1600s traded an entire wheat farm for a single Venetian mirror and considered it a good deal. Making flat, clear glass was incredibly difficult. The Venetian glassmakers guarded their secrets like military intelligence. Louis XIV built the Hall of Mirrors at Versailles with 357 mirrors specifically to show off French wealth. At the time, that was an obscene display of money. Mirrors were often worth more than fine art from famous painters. Today you probably have mirrors in multiple rooms. You might complain your bathroom mirror isn't big enough. In the 1600s, that mirror would be worth more than the entire bathroom. Number 1. Books. Before the printing press, every book was copied by hand. A skilled monk might spend months or years creating a single copy. A large Bible could need the skins of about 300 sheep for parchment. Add ink, pigments, gold leaf, and labor from scribes, illuminators, and bookbinders. A single hand-copied book could cost as much as a house. Universities chained their books to shelves because they were too valuable to risk theft. The phrase chained library comes from this practice. When Gutenberg invented the printing press, book prices dropped about 75% almost immediately. The paperback novel you grabbed at the airport for $15 would have been beyond the dreams of kings 1,000 years ago. Here's what's wild. You live more luxuriously than any monarch in history. You have aluminum, sugar, purple clothes, pineapples, salt, pepper, glass windows, ice, mirrors, and books. All available for pocket change. A medieval king would have sold his kingdom for a freezer and a library card. Next time you wrap leftovers in aluminum foil, remember Napoleon's guests would have envied you. Next time you season food with salt and pepper, remember armies marched across continents to control those trade routes. Next time you look in a mirror, remember a countess traded a farm for that privilege. You're richer than you think. You just got used to it. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this trip through history's most expensive everyday items, subscribe so you don't miss the next video. I'll see you then.